What is up, everyone? Welcome to another October daily video where I'm doing 31 days of Halloween drawing. Today I am going to be drawing a Witch's Cauldron. So wait, that wasn't soup that I was just drinking out of the... Alright everyone, let's get started on our Witch's Brew Cauldron drawing. This one should be pretty fun. I'm going to try to make this one pretty stylized in a way, so I'm gonna have a lot of harsh lines if I can. So do a lot of straight lines here. Just like the other videos, if you've watched any of them this month, I did these sketches beforehand to try to speed up this process a little bit because I'm trying to do these videos as live as possible. So kind of have to get rid of some of the fluff work to get this streamlined. So hope it doesn't bug anyone that I did these sketches beforehand. But if you do want to see those paper sketches, I do have them available for any of my Patreon subscribers. So something to think about if that's the kind of stuff that you like to see. Everyone on my Patreon also gets to kind of know what's going on before I even post anything on here. Get pretty live updates when I get a chance to get things out to them for my next videos, all that kind of stuff. So it's always kind of fun, I think. I don't like the look of this line. It's a little too thick. A little heavy-handed there. Harsher on the line there than the sketch was, because the sketch is just there to give me a reference to work off of. I don't have to follow it to a T, though I am following it pretty close because after I did the paper sketches, I did bring it in here and I kind of refined it pretty close to how I wanted it to be in the end. Oh wait, I should put these legs on a separate layer. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna make these legs here. All right, do it all in one motion. So the brushes I'm using, anyone who's watched the other videos are probably sick of me saying this. These are my own brushes. They are available on Gumroad. But I was talking about my Patreon just a minute ago. Anyone who's part of the $1 or up on the subscriptions gets these brushes as well. So that's something to keep in mind. So they're $2 on Gumroad, $1 essentially if you sign up for my Patreon. So just something to add on there. I appreciate anyone who goes over to my Patreon and subscribes, but I also just appreciate all of you who are here today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys are enjoying these daily 31 videos for October. They've been a lot of fun and a lot of work, so I do hope that you guys like it. It's been quite fun making these. Let's go in and erase now. This is why I did all these overlapping areas in a separate layer, because then I can just go in and erase these lines and give it a nice seamless look. Let's combine those. I'm gonna make another layer. I don't have too many layers laying around. Trying to remember which layer is what. And then we're gonna do the same thing with these as I did with the... I don't like that. I think I'll just do it circle. I know I was saying I'm gonna try to do it stylized and angular, but not everything has to be overly stylized and angular. So some of this is just gonna be normal straight lines. Ooh, almost dropped my Apple Pencil. I use this with Procreate for pretty much anything I do for illustrations, whether it's professionally or just for myself. I used to do a lot of stuff with Photoshop and my Wacom tablet, but really don't use that very often these days. Okay, so I can combine these now. Now make another layer. This dark purple should be above here. Yep, okay. And this is gonna give it a nice clean look when I add the underlying color of the bubbles into this piece here. Redo that. Try to make this in a sweeping motion. All in one, make it look as clean as I possibly can. And we got this guy here as well. Very, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the original Power Rangers that's watching this right now, but this is very reminiscent to me of the purple goo from that movie, where they have, yeah, it's the slime. I can't remember the name of the creatures in that, but it was like a slime monsters. It wasn't the putties. I don't know. I'm rambling right now. I don't know. Does anyone else remember that? That's kind of what this purple is reminding me of. The Power Rangers movie from the 90s, where there was just this slime monster and whatnot. I'm blanking a little bit on all that, but let's see. Okay, we're gonna make another layer. It's gonna be underneath this one, and this is going to be the sludge down here. That way, when I fill this, it will be behind everything. I just realized I forgot the back leg here. Reference this. We're gonna make a layer underneath. I already picked a purple that I want to go inside there. There's that. Turn reference off on that. We're gonna make another layer up here. Let's reference this. Do the same thing there and there. That is looking pretty good so far. Now we're gonna start adding some shadows and stuff in here. So let's do this. Maybe highlights first. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to go to my fill brush here. Oh, let's first clipping mask so it stays within borders of where I want it to be. But I'm going to do these highlights first to really give myself a good sense of where my shadows are going to be. Normally I do my shadows first, but with this piece I am going a little more rogue. I actually want more highlights than I do shadows, which is normally the opposite of how I work. But now this looks really rough right now, but I'll show you why I'm just penciling these in so haphazardly. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, make sure you're still on that layer. Then you go up to adjustments here, Gaussian blur, and we're going to give this a nice glow. We're gonna do it again. Bring the size down a bit, make it slightly more controlled. Alright, we're gonna do clipping mask again, Gaussian blur again. Now time for some shadows underneath it. And I'm gonna make sure that this shadow layer actually sits on top of the highlight layer to give it a little bit of a more depth. I'll show you in a minute here when I get to that. Right now I'm flying by the seat of my handle. No, how's that saying go? I don't know. Flying by the potato of my ancestors. That's not it either. I don't know. Let's just get these shadows in. I'm gonna shut up. Okay, clipping mask, because that's driving me nuts. Alright, we're gonna do the same thing. Adjustment layer, Gaussian blur. It's looking pretty good, I think, so far. We need to bring the opacity of the highlights down a bit, though. Now, let's go to this. This one's gonna be probably the most layered drawing I've done so far for these videos. Okay, clipping mask. We're gonna go to that pink. Gonna give some highlights. I don't like that pink. Let's go a little brighter. It's really gonna come together when I'm gonna texture it a little bit. And that's what's really going to pull all this together really well, I think. And then once I add the bubbles and the smoke in the sky from this, I think that's really going to help too. So this one's going to have a Gaussian blur, but I'm not going to have it as intense as the other one. There we go. Bring that down a bit. And we're going to do a shadow. This one's just going to be black. And just get underneath some of these bubbles here. I don't know why it's dying. It should be plugged in. Actually, I should double check. Yep, it is plugged in. I'm just using it so much today that it is not happy. This is the 5th drawing I've done so far today. And I got the brightness all the way up so you guys can see it on camera. And I don't think my iPad's liking the brightness all the way up. Gaussian blur. Just get a little blur on there. Bring the opacity down. Bring the opacity down. There we go. Alright, I think this is really starting to look the way I want it to. Bring those highlights down a little bit. So let's combine that. I'm going to duplicate this. This layer, I'm going to give it a Gaussian blur as well. Slightly different color. Let's see what color I'm working with right now. A little bit of a blue. Okay, just for the sake of, I know I'm starting to run out of room for layers. I'm going to start combining a couple of these, so I think we're good right there for now. All right, time to make some highlights. Now, this can be kind of tedious sometimes for some people, and they don't like doing things like this, but it can really add a lot to your drawing. Don't skip the little things. Again, Gaussian blur. This one's got a lot of blurs I'm working with, but a little clipping mask, and this one needs to be turned down. Surprisingly, at first I thought this was going to be one of the faster ones, but I think this video is probably going to be one of the longest ones that I'm going to have to kind of cut down a bit on. Okay, so one thing I want to do to this cauldron is I want to add a texture to it. So we're going to go to my texture brush. And we're just going to get the whole thing with that. And bring that texture down just a little bit. This a slight Gaussian blur. I'm on the wrong layer. Ah, hurry! It's gonna die! Alright everyone, before this thing dies, here it is, the finished Witch's Brew Cauldron. I think this turned out pretty cool. It's definitely a lot more technically intricate than I originally planned I was gonna do, but I really like the way that it turned out. So this is another one of the videos for the 31 videos of October. Daily videos, they've been a lot of fun. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. And, you know, like always, keep drawing, and until next time, bye!